Hi YouTube, it's Queen Pam Elon QP, and I am here to show you a project that I have made. And I'm going to first show you what I made it with. I used this stencil from TRC. It is mini tatting, so it's number 524S. This is 523S, mini Be in Love. This one is 767S, Floral Radar. This one is Mini Winged Exploration 566S. Butterfly Reflections 849S. This is Mini Party Lights 676S. And Blueprint 813S. And I also used one of my own stencils that I just cut for myself. I used some Daniel Smith gold acrylic gesso, white gesso, black gesso, tissue paper, and a Tim Holtz stamp that I'm grabbing. One moment. I'm grabbing. I used from Ledger Script. I used this one. So, and I also used some matte medium, a sanding block, and some varnish, Minwax glossy varnish. So this was a Christmas tin full of cookies that have long since been eaten. And here's what how it looks after I stenciled it. Now I started stenciling here with a smudgy, in case you aren't familiar with what a smudgy is. This is a smudgy. Don't know if you can find them anymore, but I thought it would be the quickest way to um, add coverage. And I soon decided not, because you can see that the stenciling is not crisp. So by the time I got to here, I switched to this stencil brush to apply my gesso. Okay, let's start at the beginning. So first I tried to sand this thing because it is metal, and it had on the top you could see some embossing, and I thought, oh, I can sand that down because it's not, the paint's not gonna stick. I soon decided that I didn't like sanding, especially on the round part of the top. And so I just decided at that point to get out my matte medium and some tissue paper and glue that on. Because if I glue that on and then paint it, it'll stick better. So I did. I glued it on. I let the matte medium with the black gesso dry overnight. Not intentionally, but because I went upstairs and just decided to do something else with the rest of my day. So if you start with the stencil brush, you'll be happier. So the black gesso was dry, came down today, grabbed a bunch of stencils. I think only one of those stencils had been previously used, and this is the year of using it instead of buying it. Not buying it, but not spending all my money on crafty goodness. In fact, the rule for this year is it has to be somebody else's money. Can't come from my employer. But I have Christmas money. And so the reason that I even needed this tin, well, let's talk about the top first. I used my own stencil on the top and some molding paste. But once I did this, I started with this. And once I did this, I was like, oh, I really don't like that. So I got out my black gesso and covered it up. And I think when you can see the presentation, the black solid top is a better idea. So the purpose for this tin is to house all of my wax seal products. And if you know me, you know I like to do things in mass. So some of it came from Etsy. The majority of it came from Amazon. I got 2 of these because Amazon messed up and I got 2 of them. So I got 3 wax seals now. 1 with the QP, a P, and a Q. At some point I'll actually play with them, and it's really odd that I would choose something like this because I don't like to play with fire. But we're gonna play with fire at some point and use these. But the point of this video was that I needed some place to keep all that. And what I like about having either in my craft room, if I could have the craft room of my dreams, I would have stations. I would have a cutting station. I would have a sewing station. Not that I sew that much, but I do like to occasionally sew on cards or in my journal, but I actually do know how to construct garments. So I'd have a sewing station, a cutting station, a stamping station, a wet art medium station. So for painting, and they'd all have to be, I think I'd have the cutting station at standing height because I seldom sit to cut. But anyway, so this is my version of a station. I can pull this down from wherever I choose to store it, and I have all the things that I need for wax sealing. So you choose, if you got, cookie tins, here is a way that you can make them not look like cookies and put them to use in your craft room like I'm doing. I think the tissue paper is the way to go when trying to paint on these, but I also sealed it with that varnish from Minwax to hopefully keep some of the design along the lip from coming off and just from getting knocked off in general, because even I missed some places like right there with the tissue paper. So tissue paper tears when it's wet. And so as always, I leave you in the hands of the creator. Turn your cookie tin into an art station.